and you're on.
Okay, so we might have just got a curl bars. I thought I bought more straight fixed bars.
I don't know. I'm not the one who ordered them. This is what happens when John orders late at night.
You know, you were talking on a video, you were talking about how you don't use very many of your dumbbells.
I don't use the above 100-pound dumbbells.
Yeah, those above 100 pounds, like if you sold them, you could make a lot of money because they're hard to find and hard to ship.
Right, but then I have half of a set of dumbbells.
That's true.
Then I have half of a rack of dumbbells. And the thing is way more valuable when it's a full set than to sell pieces. Like, yes, while that is true. So we used to pay for used, the most inexpensive weight you could buy was 50 cents a pound. Now it's $1 a pound. The weight we have in there is $2.50 a pound, that rubber coated stuff. Yeah. But I'm going to buy a set of epoxy. You can drop them. They don't ship. There's nothing the rubber doesn't get dinged up on them. I'm going to buy a set of epoxy weights that have our logos built onto them. That's cool. So when I have that set of weights in there will sell for $5,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it'll ship. It'll cost we'll sell it secondhand because it's in very good condition. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't want to break them up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it got me thinking. It's amazing how expensive
it is. That's why we went into Nashville, and we only had the Toyota. We had the Toyota Tacoma with us, and we went into Nashville to buy a bar. I think this dude had a bar. It turns out he had an entire gym, huge, and I bought all of his plate. We bought, I think, almost 6,000 pounds of all those rubber Jeep. I think it's not GP, but we bought all of his 5s, 10s, 25s, 35s, and 45s. And it was so much that we had to do it. We had to pick it up in like 3 trips. Yeah. And then I bought some equipment from him. And then we went to his house and bought more equipment. And he had an amazing, we actually flew the drone over his place. It's a big farm. It's a huge estate. And he drives Uber Black. Mm-hmm. He quit doing like real estate and was driving Uber Black and just making a killing. Like his wife's father owned the property, so they had a construction company and they were doing well for themselves. And then I wanted some more equipment, so he loaded it on a trailer and brought it out here, and we used the tractors and stuff to unload it. That's cool. And probably 75% of that gym in there came from his location. And he currently has some incredible, if somebody wanted a full circuit of Cybex equipment, really, really nice equipment, he has it with all the seats swing away because he was doing like a disabled veterans program. Oh, that's cool. So if you're in a wheelchair, you can still utilize all this equipment, and then it just has a pin and it swings back into place for seated so everybody can use this. And he's got, I think it's 11 pieces. And I saw he had it up for sale the other day. I just don't have room for it. It's redundant to a lot of the stuff we have. And when I'm buying equipment, everything I'm buying now is Arsenal. So I'm eventually going to switch everything over to Arsenal.
Yeah, I think it's you not having any more room for gym equipment is kind of a good thing because you have everything you need, but you want everything else.
No, we need a regular leg press.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, we're going to buy some. We're going to buy some.
Amanda needs a regular leg press.
And to have pin select on leg stuff is nice because you don't have to move so many plates.
Yeah.
And the pin select is smoother no matter what you do compared to plate load stuff or leg stuff.
I don't remember the name of this. It's a subreddit, but it's like home gym goals or something like that. And if you ever look at any of that stuff, nothing compares to what you guys have. Like you guys have not a home gym. It's not a home gym.
Well, because it all came out of regular gyms.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, we have friends that have home gyms that smoke hours. They're just not posting on fucking Reddit. Who the fuck posts on Reddit?
I don't know. Just like from what I can see, you guys have a very top tier gym. Already.
I think like Reddit is like the fucking basement of the internet.
Oh yeah, it is for sure.
It's the fucking just. I don't know any successful fucking dudes that are like, hey, check out my Reddit page. Like
can you have a page like that? Like a profile?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but like we're all over Reddit. If you search us, there's a ton of shit on Reddit. People send me links to it.
Yeah. I would imagine that you could go up there and set up a profile as a business and
like advertise and
yeah, post to it just like you would for Instagram.
It would come up in search in there.
Yeah.
I think Reddit kind of like anything goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true, and the only reason that I know about Reddit is from dealing with those other girls, but because that's where they would have to promote their stuff at. But there is like it's anything like you could find like I saw a video on there the other day of a cop thinking that he was stopping a car thief and just opening the door and just smoking the dude, and it wasn't. It was his car. He was sitting in front of a McDonald's eating a burger.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, and like that, all that shit you can put on Reddit, like unedited everything, you know.
Yeah.
No holds barred.
So Evan Dixon, Radio Made Easy. John, the stuff you're putting out has been resonating with me more than ever. I'm not sure if anything changed with your content or if it's just mindset shift with the new path I'm on. Maybe both. I think it's both, man. I think it's both. It's stuff that I'm around, people I'm around, stuff I'm consuming, and just focus on more business development myself right now, as well as personal development. What motivational and business coaching content have you found helpful that you would recommend to me? First and foremost, anybody can do this, that what I'm about to say. Andy Frisella, the MF CEO podcast. There was 300 episodes of it. He stopped doing it. It was number one business development on iTunes. It was number one on iTunes for several categories for years. And now he does something called Andy Frisella Real AF. I don't think there's as much value for you in the new stuff. And I know why they're doing it. They're trying to go more mainstream and take over iTunes and kind of do like Rogan. And it's there. They're doing it for sure. They do Cruise the Internet, CTI, which is now they just read kind of like Scully and I do and talk about current events and shit. And then Andy will go off on some rants and tirades and stuff that are beneficial to business owners. But for the most part, I would tell you, if you haven't done this, go back day fucking one and just listen to the MF CEO podcast. It will change your life that day. There is something actionable in almost every one of those things. I would start there. I've got some personal development coaching stuff you can get into. It's anywhere from $300 a month to $300 a week. When you get at higher level, higher performance people, you're going to pay $1,000 a week to $1,000 a day. And a lot of people hear this and be like, fuck that. And their answer will be, if you can't have access to these people that cost $1,000 a day and be motivated and be able to figure out how to make an additional $1,000 a day, then you don't belong in those groups. And that part of that's by design too. When you have access to dudes and they charge you higher dollar amounts, their clientele are going to know the value in that and they're going to perform. If you took just normal motherfuckers off the street and gave them access to those people for free, they would never perform because they're non-performers. Whereas if you have a vested interest in it, you're going to be a killer. You're going to perform. And then those people are going to say, hey, my students performed and created this much extra revenue this week or whatever, right? So there's a vested interest in having better clients as well as better instructors. So it goes hand in hand. I'm in a couple mastermind groups, and I will talk to you about that offline as to who they are. You would probably benefit in being in one of the ones I'm in for sure. Just having access to these guys and hearing the conversations from guys who are running several multi-million-dollar businesses. And when you hear them talk about daily revenue, you hear me talk about, daily revenue, $3,000 to $10,000 a day. These guys are talking about $50,000 a day, and hey, we didn't hit our $50,000 mark. What did we do to make that up tomorrow, right? So you would benefit being in there and having access to these guys, them just talking about different tax strategies and different business things. And I'll be happy to have that conversation with you. But immediately, anybody running a business or wants to just do better in life, The MFCEO podcast is actionable. There are things in there, literally, you can listen to an hour podcast, 90-minute podcast, and literally implement these things in your life. And people around you at the end of the week will go, hey, I don't know what the fuck happened, but I see the change, right? And keep it secret. You don't need to tell them what you're doing. Just fucking do it, because people around you are going to benefit from it also. And I got to give props to Dakota Laboda. That's Great Wolf Tactical on here. He worked here for years, and he told me fucking at least once a week, hey, you should listen to the MFCEO podcast. I'm like, I don't have time for that bullshit. And finally, he sent me a link to something. I listened to it, and I'm like, holy shit, man, what is this? He's like, this is the thing I've been telling you to listen to for years. So this is one of those times when somebody was looking out for me and giving me actionable advice, and I didn't take it. And this is one of those things I should have done. So thank you, Dakota, for that, and a myriad of other things.
When it comes to getting into those groups that cost a lot of money and stuff like that, it's also a way to find out if you're actually investing in yourself. Because if you don't want to do it, it's because you're scared that you're not going to make it work. You know what I mean? Like, how many people got into something and got all the cool shit with it, and then it sat in the corner? Mm-hmm. Like, when you're investing in yourself in a way that you really feel it, like you're spending a lot of money, you're gonna perform and you're gonna get the result that you want.
Yeah.
Or at least you're gonna try harder to do that.
For sure. And I won't tell people where those are, because inevitably some of those dudes, especially the non-performers, are going to use my name.
Yeah.
And those guys are going to now be associated. So whoever sees that dude drop in my name, people constantly are like, hey, who's your breeder? I want to get one of those dogs. Those dogs are $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah.
That's if that's you, if you're that client, I will be happy to directly introduce you to the breeder. But if I throw out $3,000 and $5,000 and you're like, why the fuck would I pay that for a dog?
You're disqualified.
I totally understand it. That's your position, no problem. I don't want my name associated with my breeder with somebody that's going to call up and ask fucking 100,000 fucking questions and not commit.
I do that all the time. People talk about, like you're talking about the team guys saying that they didn't want to tell anybody where they got their shit. That's not this. This is you don't trust the person enough to tell them to go represent you.
Right.
So,
you know what I mean?
So my dog breeder, as well as Fortress Canine, okay? Same thing. I am never going to fucking send an email out to Joel Riles and with somebody else carbon copied on there and have them not be a performer. That is never going to happen. Like when we were talking about a Kickstarter, for some crowdfunding stuff. And that was the one thing I said. I go, we can never, ever, there is no fucking situation in this world where we can crowdfund something and have it not fucking come to fruition. So if you can't guarantee this, that ain't fucking happening. This project will just delay and we'll figure out how to do it. But that my name can never be associated with that. Absolutely. If I send you somebody in business, you know those are fucking qualified, actionable customers. I am never going to be associated. Now, of course I have people that want to have, and we have those conversations every night on live feed, but I'm not going to fucking give you that introduction. If you're like, yes, I'll send him $2,500 deposit right now, then I will introduce you. Yep. You just have to be, and it's not for everyone. I 100% understand that. I get it.
It's not a judgment, it's a protection. You're protecting yourself.
I am.
But at the same time, they need to know that that's not for them before an introduction is even.
Well, I don't give a shit I don't care what they know. It's about, no, I mean, and I don't mean that shitty. It's about when I introduce somebody I do business with, or when I invite them somewhere, my fucking name is gold. They know that if I invite them to come somewhere, it is going, without question, it's going to be worth their time if I've invited them.
Here's like a perfect example. So I have somebody in my life who wants to take a class in tactical response. I don't want them to take a class there because I don't want them representing me. And so I explain to them exactly what it takes to take your first class. You need, 5 mags, you need 1,000 rounds, you need all this gear. And I knew that was enough deterrent, which is why I don't want them there.
Right.
They just dropped it. They were like, "Oh, that's pretty expensive."
Well, it doesn't. That won't be associated with. That doesn't fucking matter at all. You give them the information. Mm-hmm. They can go on the website. You will lose them right here. Yeah. Hey, here's the website. Go register.
Yeah.
They're not going to register.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have 1,000 rounds of 9mm? You don't. You can't take the class then. Mm-hmm. You can't. You have to have the ammo. So order the ammo. Have it shipped to Tactical Response, and you don't have a gun, no problem. You can rent it. Mm-hmm. You can, but you can. They're going to have to pay for that. That's going to have nothing to do with you. So it removes it off of you. You don't have to have that funk on you of being an asshole. Mm-hmm. Here's how you do it. You need 1,000 rounds of ammo. The class is $550. It's 2 days.
You got to get out there.
You got to go.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Where the people I'm talking about?
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, not your problem, man. They ain't coming here.
No,
they still live in California.
And they can't even own fucking guns anyway.
Exactly.
So, yeah, not your problem. I feel like I'm Eric Holzer, I feel like I'm noticing a trend toward LBEs, LBVs, and larger chest rigs. Do you agree with this being a trend? If so, why do you think these things are taking the place of popularity over the micro rigs? So the micro rigs, we need to ask yourself what war you're fighting. And like Scully and I talked about, I don't know that you've even heard it. I think both of those podcasts are up. One of them's only private still. So what war are you fighting? Everybody wants this fast, light, go fast gear, right? Because Delta or SEAL Team 6 uses it, and it's marketed to you very well because it's in all of the Instagram and the Gun Bunny guys and all the TV shows. What you don't see are the battalion of Rangers behind them. What you don't see when they're on target is they have other air assets in case their bird gets shot down. They have another fucking team to take their place seamlessly. What you don't see is they throw all that gear away, right? If the equipment comes back, it goes in a bin and they get handed brand new shit next time. It's disposable. Are we defending the United States? Doesn't even matter who you're defending the United States from. You, as a U.S. citizen, are you defending the United States? Do you believe that there could come a time when you have to protect your property, your family, and these United States? And if the answer is yes, you're not going to have a resupply. If there's any humanitarian aid, it's going to be in the form of water and food possibly. And the people giving you that water and food, you are probably going to have to defend your property from them. You need heirloom equipment, and that is LBV, right? That is long range, carry all your shit, might not be coming back here ever again. And that's LBV and rucksack and stuff like that. That is not Go Light gear. Dudes wearing those 3-mag placards with the zip-on panels on the back. The shit on the back of you is not for you. It's for the guy behind you. It's for your breacher. You're carrying, every operator carries belt-fed ammunition, even though you're not carrying a belt-fed. Every operator, even though they don't have 40 mic, you're carrying 40 mic. You're carrying breacher equipment. You're carrying demo, even though you're not that dude. Every one of those dudes is cross-trained in that. Every one of those dudes is cross-trained in medical. Even though you are not an 18 Delta guy, you are capable, in case you're SOT tech, Special Operations Technician, medical tech, he might get killed. So everybody's cross-trained. That's not us. Hopefully that's you. Hopefully you have invested the time and the money and the skill, right? Guys that are really serious about this shit, they don't just go take medic courses. They actually get on a fucking ambulance and they operate as a fucking EMT, as a paramedic. They put time into the emergency room, right? Wouldn't you rather the guy that's in your prepper group who's supposed to be your medic, wouldn't you rather him have had his hands inside a fucking human body a few times? Or hundreds of times? So, yes, absolutely. If you look at and that's the conversation Jeff and I were having. He's like, these covert rigs, great rig, awesome rig for driving around. It is what it is, right? You're driving from here to Nashville, and there might be some shit going on, and if something happens, you hit a roadblock on the freeway, you want to have some gear on you. But if you don't hit a roadblock and law enforcement has stopped you for something and you have contact, would you rather them not know you have all that shit, or would you rather be fucking fully jocked up and have to have that conversation? Non-permissible environments, covert rig. You get out at the gas station, you're getting fuel, you've got that shit tight to you, tensions are high. That's what those rigs are for. When it's out in the open and there's fucking smoke clouds in the distance and your electricity's not working, then the big rigs come out, right? You're constantly jocked up. You are constantly in a state of readiness. And there's a lot of other shit that goes with that. If you're protecting you and your wife and 2 children, when are you going to sleep? Does your wife have armor? Does your wife have a rig? Is it loaded out? Has she ever worn it? Does she know that it will rub the fucking skin off of her nipples, right? Has that ever fucking happened? That's why you need to have a bunch of people around you. You need to have like-minded people, and you need to have these conversations now. And the dude that's like, just buys some shit, but he doesn't go to class with you, that dude's not going to be of any fucking use when the time comes that this becomes real. You need to live now as though it's real. And yes, there is. We are doing LBVs. I owe a dozen guys LBVs right now. They're probably 75% done. I need to take a couple of my ladies and transition them and have them start building these, because if we built them, people will buy them. We actually put them online for 15 minutes maybe and sold way more than I wanted to build, so we turned them off. But yeah, that's heirloom equipment. Like somebody said the other day, like I get emails all the time. Guys are like, "Hey, I have this belt. I've had it for 30 years." I'm like, "You better have it fucking 30 years. Your grandkids are going to wear it 30 years from now." And that's the LBVs. When you look at these big rigs, if you're in our private groups, and we don't tell you how to get there, if you're not smart enough to get in the private group, I don't fucking need you there. But if you're in our private groups, you will see people post links to these LBVs we've built, and they are changing hands. Like, guys are selling these things for $2,000. We sold them back in the day for $250. The rig we build now, it's the same patterns. We've added pals. It's not 2-inch scuba webbing anymore. We've added some features that are it's more feature rich for comm routing and stuff like that now. But they're the same rigs. They're the same thing. And yes, you are correct, man. You are. Amy Lynn Jones, what would you guys do differently in your business if you could go back and do something different? Thanks for you and Amanda do. What would you pick? You would just do what I tell you to do from day one because I'm always right?
As if.
Would your life have been a bit easier if you'd have just done the things I said to do?
What?
I don't know. I'm sure there's something, though.
I think it has to be something that you guys are, anybody.
Yeah, make it easier for your customers to give you money. Mm-hmm. And you'll have asshole customers who are like, "Why don't you take crypto? What do you hate money?" You should take crypto. You should take crypto. For years, we didn't take credit cards. Things right now are easier than they have ever been. For as much as we talk about how fucked up the United States is, you have it better right now. Literally, stop and think about this. I'm talking to you, any one of you fucking hearing this right now. You have it better right now than you have ever fucking had it. Even with the and maybe you go back 2 years ago, okay? Trump was president. My tax situation was better 3-4 years ago than it was now, right? Our fuel costs, that's not what I'm talking about. Go back 10 years ago. Go back 20 years ago. We don't even have to log into the internet. We don't even have to take a phone handset and put it on a modem and go and wait 5 minutes for a picture to load, right? Everything is seamless on these things. You have literally the answer to every question you could possibly ask in your pocket right now. You can buy things from around the world 24 hours a day, and they will show up here in 2 weeks. I get stuff from China. We get some stuff from China, nothing that we use to manufacture here, but we get stuff from China here faster than I can get it from the United States. We used to have to get on a steamship, go to India, hunt down some things, import them, set up a store, right? That's what Pure One Imports was from Thailand and India. Those places are gone. You know why they're gone? Because every U.S. citizen can buy that shit directly now, and they don't have to go to a destination to pick it up. And now the businesses don't have to pay huge amounts of money because they can do it all over the internet. That's why all these malls are closing down. There is no more anchor store. We don't have to go someplace to buy things. There are tons of places. You buy 15, 20 pieces of clothes. It shows up at your house within 2 days, and they send you labels to send it all back for free. We don't have to do any of that shit anymore. We don't have to go around snotty little kids with colds. We don't have to go around to malls where you might get involved in a gang shooting. Like, you just don't have to do any of that shit anymore. We literally, our lives are easier right now. And that's why, and with that said, that's why we're in the situation in the United States that we're in, because you motherfuckers are comfortable. I don't mean you guys, but motherfuckers are comfortable. So what would we do different in business? I would have set the website up earlier.
That's what I was going to say.
We're working on something for an app right now. Every time we do something that seems to work really well, it's getting to the point where they are literally throttling it back. If you do well, they turn it off for you. They want to charge you. Then they don't like the things you say, and they want to be able to punish you, and they're able to. When Facebook first started, we would make a post and thousands of people would interact with it. I didn't change my message. People like what I'm doing now even more. They throttle it back because they're worried about the message. So we started doing, we have an email list. It goes up to 70,000 people all the time. And then we kill half of those people off. If they don't actually make purchases, we remove them because there's an algorithm to your email. A lot of people don't realize that. So then we set up text messaging. And we've got 3,000 on our text app now. We were putting out a text message. When we first started doing it, we would put a text out an hour before the email. And we would tell people, hey, get on this text app because you'll find out about this stuff an hour ahead of time. Well, what was happening was when we'd send the email out an hour later, they're like, hey, all this stuff is sold out. Did you turn it on? Is it correct? So now we send a text out 10, 15 minutes early. It still sells out. 3,000 people versus 70,000 people. Yeah. So now we're sending the text out and we're seeing that it's not going out as fast. They're throttling us back. So Amanda sits on the phone and talks to some motherfucker in India for an hour Friday night or Thursday night last week. And they're like, well, you've been classified as a firearms company. And she's like, we don't sell any firearms. And then they sent us a photo of a picture of our 20-round PMag pouch with a magazine. And they're like, this is what's in the file. Well, we don't sell guns. We don't sell the mags. We just show that it'll hold the mag because that's what it is. It's thread and material. Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is you'll still send our text messages out, but only 5,000 at a time instead of just all of them all at once because you're punishing us somehow. So you still do it. It's legal for a fee. We'll do it for a fee. That's just one more way, right? So how do we circumvent that? Well, we set up our own app. And then if you're on our app, we have our own groups. Having this app this particular program that we're looking at is like having your own social media. There's a forum in there. There's groups in there. There's videos in there. I can put them to different levels. It's like a cross between Facebook and TikTok and Marketplace and old school forums all in one. So that's our next move. So if you're on our app, your phone, as long as you have your settings set, it'll tell you every time we make a post or every time we post a video or every time we put out a sale format. And then we can have limited groups, right? The 10 best, or we set moderators, right? And then once a week for our moderators, we have a private 30-minute meeting, right? So we can control all of that. So that's the next move probably. Now, social media for the most part is free. We spent over $3 million on marketing and boosting posts on Facebook. It stopped working. We stopped doing it. I haven't put any money into marketing or advertising in 5 years now probably. But with these things, these programs, you can get a free version of it or you can pay for the highest level version. I think the highest level version is like $400 a month. When you're starting out, you don't have $400 a month to put into this. Because, okay, well, what if I get a lot of work? I can't build the work. I understand it. It's constant. It's push and pull. It's constant. as you grow one, you have to do something else to catch up. But that's really it. Just programs. We brought in automated machines to do processes, and it wasn't faster. Like everybody in the business already knew how to sew and build things. Carhartt's a good example, right? We have people working at Carhartt. I have employees here that worked at Carhartt. Carhartt people can't sew. They run sewing machines, but they're button pushers. They literally couldn't sew a straight line on these machines. What most of them do, put a piece of work on, and a clamp comes down, and it goes, and it cuts it and does everything for them. We don't build enough of shit. Like on my floor right now, I probably have 10 different items being made right now while we're speaking. We don't build thousands of things. So if we were going to build things in that manner, then we'd have to have a dealer network. We turned all our dealers off 7-8 years ago. If I have a dealer network that all of a sudden doesn't like something I'm saying, or they're like, well, I buy, $10,000 a month. You should get my orders to me faster. And I'm like, hey, how about fuck off? Now they're mad, so they put all my shit on sale. And then they put some money through social media marketing to say all my shit's on sale. Now all of my other preferred dealers or good dealers are losing. They're sitting on inventory because this asshole's selling it for 10 cents on the dollar because he's mad at me. You can't control those things. So
I know we talk about watches a lot, but there's a reason that if you go into a Rolex boutique, you can buy a gold date just, or a stainless steel date just, the $4,000 watch, but you can't buy the $10,000 watch. It's because Rolex makes those dealers buy like 10 of those $4,000 watches to get one of the 15,000 or whatever.
That's for the poors.
Yeah.
Because the poor people,
It's for the poor.
they're interested in the name. They don't know shit about Rolex. They walk in, they look at Rolexes, and they're like, I really can't afford a $4,000 watch, but I'll just use my rent payment next month, and I'll just buy this, right? They'll buy the $4,000 watch. They don't know that they just see Rolex.
Well, and the thing is you can get those watches, and either you have to know somebody or you have to be the person that bought 10 of those $4,000 watches. They have them in the safe. They're just not selling them to you.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened when we called. I wanted to give 3 Rolexes for Christmas, and we tried to get them through a shop that was listed as a Rolex dealer in Jackson. They didn't even, I talked to the person, they never even fucking called me back.
Yeah, because
we were driving up there with fucking $30,000 buying these fucking watches. They didn't even fucking call us back.
Yeah, because you're nothing to them yet. Like if that was going to be your store, then you would be somebody.
And just poor business. I mean,
well, the thing is
when I called Kings, we walked in there and fucking bought them at Kings.
The thing is those stores, especially the ones that aren't boutiques, like they're authorized dealers where they sell a bunch of other stuff, they have to sink so much money into the Rolexes that nobody wants that they can't afford to sell the nice ones to people who don't buy a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. So, what?
I was going to say it's lunchtime.
It's been lunchtime. Do you need to eat?
20 minutes ago.
Are you hungry?
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, we've only got...
I'm fine.
We can keep doing this. Jeremy Wilson, are you doing anything differently preparedness or planning-wise now that a rail trucking stoppage appears more imminent than ever? I'm trying to reprioritize where I need to put my focus with the possibility of major shortages and the inevitable consequences of them. Thanks for the content and having the membership Thunderdome option. Okay, so here's what I would say, Jeremy. I don't know your situation, but if we're speaking rail and truck stoppages, right? Okay, so diesel's elevated in price. That's what you all need to look at. All you guys that are like, well, I don't have a diesel truck, it doesn't matter. Your gasoline is moved with diesel trucks. Your food is moved with diesel trucks. Now, are we having stoppages? They keep telling you this. Who is telling you this? Why would the White House come out? Why would the government come out and tell you that they're about to run out of fuel? Why would they tell you that? Because they need to manipulate you and make you feel some kind of way. They need you to panic. Are you not in a position in life where you can go to the gas pump and pay $3.50, $4 a gallon is it stopping you from anything? Are you not going someplace because gas isn't $2 a gallon? And if the answer is yes, I don't go places on the weekend because gas costs more, you need to fix your life. You need to reevaluate your life. Can you not do something Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that makes you a couple $100 more so that you can pay a couple dollars more for gas and still have a couple extra $100 in your pocket? And what is that? What can you do that adds value to people that they will give you money to do? Entertain, educate, equip, right? Do you have something you can teach people that they want to learn? Do you have something, are you funny? Do they align with you? Do they like you because of how you present things, right? And then equip. That's the last one, right? Do you have a tangible product? Do you have something that you can sell to people that they will come to you to pick up, right? Entertain, educate, equip. So the fuel stuff. Is trucking becoming scarce? Well, let's go beyond that even. The Mississippi River runs under a bridge in Memphis. And that's how we move, I think they said 70% of grains and commodities run on barges. We run them down the river because it's faster, it's cheaper to move things on the river than by truck. It's cheaper to move things on train than truck, but still cheaper on barge. The river is so low we can't run barges through there. We have cotton being cut between here and Memphis and further west, cotton. And you're seeing a lot of it. Cotton's making a comeback. I've got friends that planted cotton last year that hadn't had cotton on that ground in 50 years now. They planted cotton last year. And what he said is, as soon as they legalize marijuana, I'm planting marijuana and not growing any of this, because for a farmer, it's more profitable. But the cotton can't move down the river, so they're not able to even take it. There are cotton mills right now not taking cotton because there's so much cotton and the other mills are closed. They're turning it away. So these farmers are actually having to sit on cotton they cut this year to be able to sell it next year. Same thing with corn. They're turning corn back around. So while, yes, some places there's shortages, what is causing it, right? So what am I doing different? I guess I'm not really doing a lot different. We're just doing more of everything. And now we have a good foundation, like food-wise. I have a lot of MREs. We went a couple years ago and bought truckloads of MREs. We bought literally thousands of MREs, and we loaded them up in super kit bags. I think we get 30 MREs in each super kit bag, and we stacked them. Stacked them to the roof. Are we going to eat them? No. I have eaten MREs. I have eaten MREs that were 25 years old. We just store them in as stable temperature as possible. We have buckets of rice and beans and wheat. Am I going to eat it? Hopefully not. But it'll store fucking hundreds of years. I mean, water. We have a lot of water stored. We have water in 7-gallon water cubes. We've got, 30, 40, 50 of those. We have water in 55-gallon drums. We got 20 of those. Water in IBC totes. We got 20, 30 of those probably. Water in 1,000-gallon tanks. I got 2 of those. Water in 1,500-gallon tanks. I got 2 of those. Water in ponds. I got 3 million gallons in one pond. So I think I'm okay for water, right?
Plus, it's still coming out of the tap.
Well, right now it is, yeah. But if it goes off.
Yeah.
So what's my next thing? How do we heat? We heat everything in the building off natural gas. Well, natural gas has gone up a lot, right? It's up high in price. I am not in a position where I have to worry about the cost of it because I just work a little more tonight. I'm going to work a little more tonight. I'm going to build some product. We're going to shoot some badass video. We're going to talk about it on social media platforms. We're going to put it out, and I'm going to sell, let's say 200 of this item that's $65, right? How much is that? 6,500, that's 65, $13,000 this week.
That's enough to pay the gas bill.
It's enough to pay the gas bill. So but let's say they turn it off, because that's what I'm looking at, right? I say some shit they don't, whoever they is, right? So they turn my shit off. So we started cutting a lot of wood. So much wood that at the beginning of COVID, I had it in the back of my head, if they came around and they're like, you got to close down, or my main thing was if they turned off the mail service, right? If they turned off shipping, how do I still pay my guys that have moved here from other states? How do I still employ them? Well, we burn wood here. There's a lot of people that burn firewood and have stoves and little boilers and stuff. I bought a firewood processing machine. We got with great
Wolfridge Farm.
Wolfridge Manufacturing. We got with Wolfridge and bought a firewood processing machine, and we chopped up a bunch of wood. When we put this pond in, a bunch of trees came down. I've got trees right now that are coming down, and we cut that shit up. But if I can't do that, or manpower, right? Every time you touch something by human being, it costs you more money. Well, we log trees here. They're cutting hardwood. They're cutting pulp for paper. They're cutting 30 years it's poles, 15 it's paper pulp. We've got cardboard plants here, paper manufacturing. I can get with these dudes who cut these trees down, these tree companies. They only want the straight. Well, the limbs, I can take those limbs and turn those into firewood. So I can bring a triaxial in here. They'll bring a semi-truck with these log trailers, drop those off. And then we just cut them up. We use an excavator, pick them up, cut them into, 13 or 11 or depending, and stove wood, right? Are you cutting your wood at 12 inches? Will your firebox take 12 inches? Will your firebox take 16? Do you want small wood? Do you want, what are we trying to do? So we bought a processor. We can turn that into firewood. Now, back to touching it, right? Touching it by hand. Every time a human being touches something, it costs more. So we just take those things and stack them in IBC totes so that when it comes time to sell this stuff, we can just load an IBC tote. We charge you a deposit on the IBC tote, and you can bring it back to me, and I'll give you your money back next week, or you can keep it, and next time you just bring it back, and you bring me my tote back, and then we just swap them out for the next loaded IBC tote. But John, what if you have all these IBC totes loaded with firewood? Well, we have a cap over the top so it sheds water. I can stack them up. We could use them as a defensible position. We could use them to block off egress points off the property. We could close things down with all these totes, and it's a bullet stop if we ever had to use them. I mean, they're 4 feet thick, full of firewood, hardwood. So that was one of the things we looked at. So the honest truth is, I don't even have anything here that burns firewood inside. I don't have a boiler. I don't have a wood stove. I don't have a potbelly stove. But I've got 40 other means of heating things if we have to. And push come to shove, I mean, we'll build a barrel stove or whatever. I mean, that is on the next list of things to do, is to buy a soapstone stove and buy an Amish built cook stove, And I know every time I say this, dudes are like, rocket mass heater. Rocket mass heaters are fucking awesome. I don't want a big stone thermal sink in my showroom in here. Into the world? Cool. We'll do it. We'll build it out of cob and mud, and we'll put it together in a couple days. But
right now, that's not the right move.
It's just not what I want. It'd be cool to have a little hobbit house in the back that has a big fucking stove, a rocket mass heater with a thermal sink that you put your mattress on, but it's not what I want right now. I would just question, Jeremy, is it really affecting you, right? Everything's up in price. Before they started talking the cost of fuel, though, everything was already going up in price. And they've been saying this for 2 years. Prepare for a cold, dark winter. That's because they're going to do it to you. They are doing it to you, right? Don't be in a position where what they do affects you, because if it doesn't affect you, then it doesn't fucking matter what they do. And the more people realize that, the less power they have. I don't know if I answered your question. And I really don't know where you're at, right? If you truly believe, I would say anybody, if you truly believe these things are happening, then why are you in a fucking city? Like, why haven't you left the city if you truly believe this? Things are getting crazier. Things are getting more difficult. But motherfuckers living in shithole California right now,
by choice,
still have it pretty fucking easy.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I don't know if they have a better life than people like us that are aware of what's happening, because they're blissfully ignorant. And, like, maybe nothing does happen and they just go on being blissfully ignorant.
I think the majority of them know it. I mean, that's where you're seeing $8 a gallon gasoline.
Yeah,
What's our gas here? $3.50 right now?
Not
I actually
even
don't even know,
$3.30.
because you're right about that. Like, don't let the price of gas affect what you're doing. Sometimes when I'm filling up, I'll notice it, but if I need to take a gas, I'm getting to take a gas.
Well, and the thing of it is gas has been $3.30 here for 2 years.
Here's where you really know it. We have 2 diesel tanks that are 350 gallons. Mm-hmm. We used to fill those tanks up for $1,000. Mm-hmm. Now those tanks are, $2,500 to fill them up. Mm-hmm. That's where you know it. You want to really know what the fuck's going on, go talk to a farmer.
Oh, yeah.
Go, like we looked at an IBC tote the other day, because I didn't know what it was. I was surprised to see it at
Tractor Supply.
Rural King.
That's right.
There's a 275-gallon IBC tote full of some kind of liquid.
Yeah.
So when I look at it, it's glyphosate. It's Roundup. Mm-hmm. How much was it? $3,000?
They're selling
I think it was more than that.
Yeah.
Maybe you saw it on the truck.
No.
It was
for farmers.
Yeah,
for like,
that's interesting.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking ridiculous. And if you're growing corn or soybean, you have to
have it.
Yeah.
You spray it over. People don't realize that when you buy corn or soybeans, it has been directly sprayed the week of harvest with Roundup. It's on the kernels when you get it. They don't wash that shit because it dries it and it lowers the moisture content.
Well, not only that, but like that.
Same with your wheat. They spray wheat because it dries it out so it's ready for harvest.
Yeah, and that proves that there is no vegan option, because that shit kills something that's living in that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you want to go out to a field when they harvest. There's animals running everywhere. Yeah. All right. Well, that's the last of those questions. Hope that there's something of value here. Thanks for participating in this. We'll pick a couple winners out of here and send you guys some shit. I guess that's it. Let's go eat lunch.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, man, I'm talking about realest, one of the realest to try. My family, SOE, got the tools to survive. Yeah.